Hello and welcome back to Duncan Codes. My name is Duncan and today we are continuing with University of Helsinki's massive open online course, and specifically today we are continuing with files and file manipulation. We've got our first challenge here, so let's get cracking. Is it in the file? Let's see. So the exercise template comes with two files. Write a program that first asks the user the name of the file to be read, after which the user is prompted for the string they're looking for. The program then reads the file and searches for the desired string. If the string is found, the program should print found. If not, the program should print not found. If reading the file fails, the reading ends in an error, the program should print the message reading the file plus the file name failed. So again, very similar to what we looked at, but that's good because it helps us cement these new ideas in. So let's close this one, open it's in the file. Oops, bit too far there. There we go. Let's open that one. So we've got system out, name of the file, and then search term. Okay, let's start with our try. So we'll do scanner, file scan, equals new scanner, and then we're going to do paths.get, and then file. Going to give us an error because we haven't put our catch on, so we could just type it in, catch exception E. There we go, and now we can go back up here and put our bits and pieces in. So we're going to need a while loop again, so while file scan dot has next line, you will do this bit, which is going to be adding data to the string row, and that's going to be file scanner dot next line, and then so we need to add an if in, don't we? So if, let's think, so if searched for dot equals row, so whatever is going to be in here, then we will do system out found. I'm going to put an else if in and an else, just for a bit of testing. So else, and I'm going to say search for dot equals, but what I'm going to do is put the exclamation mark, so I'm saying searched for does not equal, and that's also going to be row. Here we're going to do, is it not found, isn't it? Oh yeah, with lowercase, not found. Well, they put a full stop on there, so I wonder if we need to put a full stop on. Oh, they put an exclamation mark on the end of their found. There we go. And what I'm going to do is just put an else in, and put somehow got here, because if it does get there, it means there's something wrong with our logic, and that will help us narrow down if there is an error in our code. And things again are getting a bit closey, curly bracey, so we can put some comments on if you want. So end of if, next one is end of while. There we go. And inside our catch, we're going to do a system out with the error. And then we are going to do E. What else do we need to do? Oh, no, hang on, there was a proper error, wasn't there? Reading the file failed. Okay, that's fine. So let's update this. So reading the file space plus file plus quote failed. Excellent. Okay, let's give that a test. Let's see what we get back. To be fair, I was testing it against the server. There's no point in doing. The expected output was found. Okay, well let's do some testing locally, because it might be easier initially than trying to figure out their code. So let's have a look. So we've got name of the file, and our file names are names.txt. Search for anti So not found, but it loops quite a lot. Ah, so I forgot to put a break in, didn't I? What I'm going to do is just add in some system out just to see what the value of row is. And just test that. And try and figure out why it's looping so much. So it does look like it should break, doesn't it? So let's try this. Let's add a break in for if they're found. Let's try it again. Let's try anti. So in our try, we've got the next line, we've got the row. If that equals row, system out print that. If not, print that. But in neither of these are we asking them to print out the names found. So let's have a think. Let's just try editing the if statement. Oh, I am printing out right there, silly me. Oh, but I wasn't. Okay, let's get rid of that. Oh, making a right mess of this. There we are. Right, let's test that. And see what sort of errors we get back. So when searching for the string test in the file name, it should be found. Expected output, not to contain the string not found. Okay, let's have a quick look at the files. There we go, so we've got that there. For some reason we are getting not found. So that was on names.txt. Search for that. Right. Okay, I think what we're going to have to do is restructure this a little bit. What I'm going to do is add a Boolean flag in. Whoops. Where am I going to add it? It's going to need to be accessible. We're only working in the main actually, so we can put it in here. So Boolean is found, and then I'm going to say if searched for dot equals row. I'm going to change that to is found equals true. And we may as well break it as well. I'm going to get rid of that else. So we've got end of if. And then I'm going to put another if in. Say if is found, then we'll print s out. Oh, I cannot see it. Right, well let's set this to false for now. So if is found, system out, and then we do the found with the exclamation mark. And then else we do not found. Full stop. Right, let's test that and see what we get back. So this way of doing it, I shouldn't get a loop like that. So we're only printing it out once. Okay. And searching should be found expected output to contain the string found. Okay. I'm just going to print out the rows again. and just see where we're stopping, or if we can see where we're stopping. Oh. Silly me. So, we've got Ada R2 not found. So it's looping through, but on the last loop it's not actually registering and printing out the name. So there's actually 4 names in there, I thought. So we've got Ada, R2, Lena and Testy. And here we've got Ada, R2, and Lena. Right, let's have a look through this from top to bottom. So I've got my, I've got a scanner there. I've got my file scanner. We've got the system out name of the file, and we're saying that the variable file is equal to scanner.nextLine. So that's good. Got that boolean. We've got the search for. That's good. And then we've got our scanner and our try catch. So while file scan dot has next line string row equals file scan dot next line, if searched for dot equals row is found equals true. Let's get rid of that break. I put that inside the while, and I don't think it's meant to be. Right, so it cannot now see the variable row. That's not a problem. Let's just move that up here a bit. Oh. Okay, let's give that a quick test. Excellent, there we go. So there's a bit of an issue with my while statement. So that's good. Right, let's get our GitHub up to date. Is this part 27? Yes, there we go. Cool. There we go. Right, let's okay that. Get this refreshed. Let's see what we've got next. So, numbers from a file. So we've only got 2 more, 3 more, 4 more. Oh, we'll definitely get those done this session. See what we've already got. Right, so we have got our prompts and our user inputs, or some of our user inputs, that's good. What do we need to do now? Then the program reads the number contained in each file, so we're going to need our try catch, aren't we? So let's try scanner for reading files, so file scanner equals new scanner file get. So we could maybe have a look at creating 2 methods, one to read the file and one to perform an action on it. So when we call the read file, we'll need to pass the file in, and the upper and lower bound actually, won't we? So pass it the file, the lower bound and upper bound. Oh. Right, so let's get rid of some of these errors. Made a right old mess of that. Right, there we go, that's looking better. Right, let's have a try at doing a few different things. So another part of coding is learning about different principles. So perhaps I'll start to include some of those principles in the code we do. So the first one, gosh, I can never remember it. I'm fairly sure is command query segregation. Look, command query separation. So earlier I said about creating one method to read the file, that's one job, and then we'll create another another method that performs the action on the file, so sorts through it and returns something. So command and query separation basically means that you have nice small methods, and that each one of them looks after something differently. Something on its own. So let's close that, let's have a think. So if we're going to do the separation, we're going to need an array list. Oh, we're going to need an array list anyway, aren't we? Because we need somewhere to store our data. So let's create an array list of type string. We'll call it list, because that's a great name for an array list. Go. Let's get the imports. Right, and what we can do here, I reckon we can probably return a list instead of using a void. So let's just have a look. Java method return list. List method of travel collects. So we need to use the type. Let's have a look. Public array list integer. So let's see what this guy says. If the class from which you want to call this method is in the same package, then create an instance of the class and call the method. It would be better to have a generic array list like array list. Cool. Okay, so we should be able to change this to array list string, and then what we'll need to do is add a return in, and we're going to be returning our list. So our list is going to be called list. Change that to private static. It doesn't like that, does it? Oh, it's because I put it inside the main. Move that up here. There we go. So now this one's gone purple because it's looking at the list up here as not a global variable, but in a sense a Java static list. Right. So we have got our array list. So we're going to read the file and then return the array list, and then we'll be able to perform operations on that list. Hopefully this works. Alright, so what we need to do now is our while loop. So while file scan dot has next line, we're going to do list dot add we're going to add in there next line. Oh. Okay, that's looking good. And then here we can just put a normal, I didn't specify any particular error for this, so let's just put that in. There we go. So that should take care of the first part. We've got our list returned. So the next part is to read through the list and see what we've got. So I'm going to type out just a basic method signature. So that one's read file, so this one's going to be check file, or check for numbers. So in this, we're going to do a for loop. So we can say for string, let's call it item in list. Interestingly, actually, because we're only using these methods inside of this this class, we could potentially make them private. Don't know how that will work with the server, but we'll make them private and we'll have a look and see how that works. If you think back to encapsulation that we looked at a while ago, it sort of keeps your variables private. Well, you can also do the same with your methods. Right, so we've got our for loop. We're going to say int number is equal to integer dot value of, and then that is going to be of scanner. So we'll take this, put it up here, make it private, static, get it all nicely formatted again. There we go. Alright. Oh. It's going to be item, isn't it? It's not scanner. So for each string item, the value of that variable is going to be stored here. And then we need to check and see if the variable is of a certain size, I believe. Let's have a look. Then the program reads the numbers contained in the file and only accounts for the numbers which are inside the given range. So actually, we don't need to pass the upper and lower bound to this method here. They're not being used at all. So let's take that, move those out. That's it. And then we're going to put an if statement in. So if number is greater than or equal to lower bound, and the number is less than or equal to upper bound, then we can do some sort of count. So we'll do count plus plus, and then if not, we'll just continue. Cool. Right, so we need to sort these up. So what we can do, private static int lower bound, upper bound, like that. There we go. Let's get rid of these errors here, and we may as well put in the counter as well. There we are. Why did I not? Oh, because I put the plus plus in, silly me. There we go. I'll call it count. There we go, counter. Right, so let's have a look. So that's the end of our for loop. Right, so let's have a think. So this is going to need the list, isn't it? For it to search through, for this method to search through. And we've got our list contained here, so we're going to need to tell the method that we're going to pass a list, and it's going to be array list of type string, and we're going to call it list. Then come up here and delete that, and we're going to do check for number in file, and then what we're going to do is pass the method, this method here. So remember, it returns a list. So we're going to type in read file, and then and because read file needs a string, sorry, not a string, a file type, a file name even, I'm going to put that on the end there. There we go. So we're calling this method, and this method is going to return our list, which is going to be used here. So that's that. Let's think what we're going to need to do now. So the last thing that we're going to need to do is system out everything. Hang on, so it says system output here, file, lower bound, upper bound, numbers 2. So these are the outputs and inputs, aren't they? Oh, silly me, we've got those there. So I just need to type in numbers plus counter. Right, moment of truth. Let's have a run locally and just see what that looks like. I'll make it a bit bigger. I'll drag it over here. And I'll just talk through it. I know that you guys are, pretty awesome at programming now, but I'll just talk through what we're doing. So here we've got our print, and it's waiting for us here. So our file is going to be numbers-1.txt. Numbers-1.txt. Lower bound. Let's do the example. I'm just going to move this to my other screen. So lower bound is 15, upper bound is 20. So we're just working through these now, aren't we? So when I press enter, it's going to call these methods here. So let's do that. So what happened was, it saw that the call for this method, which is expecting an array list to be passed to it, is checked inside its parentheses and found a method, but the method actually returns an array list. So that's why we've been able to pass the method like that. The method needs a file name, which we got from here, and then if we look at these methods, this one is just reading it. All it's doing is loading it into our program in a sense, and then this one is performing, the command, I suppose. So we've got 2, that's the expected result. Let's run the tests locally and see what we've got back. Okay, that's fine. So when the input is 520, we expected the output to be numbers 3. The output was file ? Lower bound. I wonder if that's to do with the so this one here, it says minus 999 and 999 expected numbers 4. Let's just run it locally and again, and then just see what we get back. So it's numbers-1.txt. Lower bound was minus 999, upper bound is 999. So we get 4. So because I've tried to be clever, it's actually not working. So the way they're testing hasn't allowed for people using command query separation, which is absolutely fine. It's always good to see different ways of doing things. So that is one way that you could do it. So right, what I'll do is I'll quickly retype it. Right, I'm going to move these 2, just because obviously they weren't there originally and I've come messing about with them. So let's get rid of that. Okay, let's give that a run. Oh, it's already running. Bro. Right, let's give that a test. Oh, I've been messing around with this code for ages, and I think it might be because I'm missing a colon. Unbelievable. I wonder if my old code, the command segregation code, didn't have the colon on it, and that's why it wasn't working. I'm going to Control-Z it and see if that is the case. The moment of truth. I've pressed test. No, it still seems to be behaving a bit unusually. So anyway, I've uploaded that code to GitHub just in case anyone wanted to have a look at it as well. So let's give this a refresh. I'm going to pause the video here. We've got through quite a bit today actually, and I've still got a few exercises to edit and get ready. You'll be glad to know that I'm actually slightly ahead of myself on videos now, so hopefully I can maintain that and keep them coming out more regularly. But as always, good luck and happy coding.